So Trump just said that Somalians don't belong in America anymore. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the Somali community in Minnesota has been falsely diagnosing children with autism to receive taxpayer handouts and taking advantage of the system. They then take those funds and they funnel it back home to Somalia, subsequently funding a terrorist organization known as Al-Shabaab. This new Medicaid system would cost taxpayers $2.6 million, at least that's what they said. The first year, 2020, was $3 million, 2021 was $20 million, and then just 3 years later, it quintupled to $100 million, and 2025 was on track to cost taxpayers $120 million for the year. 40% of Somalian households in Somalia receive remittances from, relatives, friends, family, whatever, in the United States, totaling the annual remittance to Somalia $1.7 billion, which is more than the Somalian government's budget. Here's how it works. The Minnesota taxpayers work hard. They have the job, they pay their taxes, they hope that in return for taking care of the system will take care of them in exchange. It doesn't, because the Somalians who are here are taking advantage. They're misdiagnosing children with autism and claiming to need more government assistance than they really do. They then take the money, the government assistance that they have stolen, the money that they have stolen from taxpayers, and they send it back to Somalia, where it is received by numerous groups, one of which happens to be an Al-Qaeda-backed terror group named Al-Shabaab. Who could have possibly guessed that people coming from a country with an IQ of 67 wouldn't actually contribute anything to society?
I'm watching the clip of Ilhan Omar. This is somebody that fled this, terrible country, no rights, and then she comes to the United States and uses our freedoms to try to make us more like the country she fled. How the hell does that make any sense? And why did we, over many decades as a government, obviously, not me or current Trump administration, but what had happened to bring in so many people who really don't necessarily want to assimilate? And I think some of these candidates who run there talk about they're not America first, but Somali first. So it's really a failure of the elites in this country with how they've handled immigration, particularly by putting Americans last.
Well, they say it's racist if you say that all these Somalis stole $1 billion.
Yeah, the race card is what they're trying to do to evade accountability. They'll say you're racist. They'll say you're, quote, Islamophobic. If you question why some of these folks have no interest in assimilating into American society. And I think people, particularly in Republican side and the conservative side, I think we're beyond where they can just sling the race card out and people should be scared of that. That's what they'll do. That's their default. But I don't think people are buying it anymore.
Omar Fattah is a Somalian immigrant who's running for mayor of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And recently, he just held a rally. You want to know what he said? Take a look.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Somalia. Hiran State. Mawisle. Early voting hadda illa November 4. I need your...
Here's my question. This is a Somalian man running for office in an American city, waving a Somalian flag, speaking Somalian to Somalians, telling them to vote for him, pledging loyalty to Somalia. Why isn't he in Somalia? Seriously, instead of advocating for importing tens of thousands of these people into the United States, why don't you just go live there if you love it so much? I mean, it's a genuine question. The average IQ in Somalia is 67. Why do we want more of that in America? I mean, could you imagine the uproar if a Norwegian guy was running for office in the United States and he was waving the Norwegian flag, speaking Norwegian, pledging his loyalty to Norway, saying that he wants to bring tens of thousands of Norwegian immigrants over to get a better life? Or would people not care because they would assimilate into the culture and actually contribute to the system? The moral of America is if you're not pro-America, first and foremost, then you have no business being here. If you don't like this country, you can leave. No one will stop you.
I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. Our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kola, and I'm excited to have you guys today. And on today's trending topic, apparently the Somalis for Trump are being deported, and almost 80,000 plus immigrants have been returned back to their homeland, that is Somali. And you can imagine this is shocking because they believed in Trump and they believed that Minnesota was their land and no government or anyone would ever take them from that land. And apparently it's FAFO to them. Let's see how people have reacted to this news, and then we're going to come back with our full commentary at the end of the video. So stay tuned.
ICE is on their way to Minnesota. They bringing a new operation to Minnesota, St. Paul area specifically, and it's just not going to be them. It's going to be several other federal agencies. They call them strike teams. I just learned that today. Strike teams is coming to Minnesota. ICE plus strike teams is coming to St. Paul region. Now, no one knows who they're going to target, but, you know, DHS, they specifically target undocumented immigrants. I think it's going to be the Somalians because the TPS ended for them. Like, then Trump said the TPS ended for them, like, maybe not even a week ago. And then he stated that they need to go back home and build up their own country, his words, unquote. Now, here's a recap of what Trump said about the Somalians. Check this out. But yeah, ICE is on their way with an operation to Minneapolis, St. Paul region. Stay safe out there, because it's ICE on the roads, and then there's an ICE operation happening too.
But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes, or however many lakes they have, they got a lot of lakes, but this beautiful place, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at, I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%, they contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you. Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks.
It just gets bad in here, man. I just don't want to be here no more. I pray to God just. I'm just tired of you guys talking about me and just always talking shit. You guys just don't even know how to just leave me alone. I'm just so tired.
Donald Trump, what he said has to be the biggest eye-opener for all of the Somali expats living in the West. Put things to perspective, I'm a Somali, British-born Somali. Grew up in the UK, London to be precise, and I moved to Hargeisa about 1.5 years ago. And it was the best decision I've ever made. Because I've been living here, I'm stress-free, I go about my day, no one says anything to me, this is my country, right? At the end of the day, this is my country. And this is the thing about us immigrants. We get caught up in building other people's countries. If I was an American, I would be straight away thinking about how to get back to Somalia, Somaliland, wherever you come from. Why? Because how are you contributing to a country that sees you that badly? And by the way, Donald Trump is the only one who's actually vocal about it. There's others that think the same thing. That's why I say the least that you can do is build up your own country. And I'm not saying go into politics. You're contributing to your country just by living there. I would just advise my Somali American brothers and sisters, especially those living in Minnesota. Invest in your own land. Invest in your own country. Don't waste your efforts on pleasing another man and another country.
There are truths we have not been saying out loud. Number 1, go to Somali malls. Cash only, no receipts. That's sus. We gotta say that out loud. Number 2, Somali tax accountants. They say, oh, you have no taxes today. That's sus. We gotta call that out. What? Yeah. Somali trucking companies cutting corners. That's sus. Let's not do that. Appreciate that. Let me keep going. Yeah, helping each other lie on forms. Like it's some sort of community service we're doing to each other. What? Yeah. And recently I just saw a Somali sheriff, police officer, saying that he only serves the Somali community. What are you doing? You're an American. The whole citizens is your duty to protect and provide great, excellent service. Hello? Get rid of that mindset. Appreciate that. To the haters who've been saying, go back to Somalia. Let me remind you something. This country is not based on tribe, bloodline, or ancestry. This is not Saudi Arabia. This is not Japan. America is contract nation. You live here, you work here, you pay taxes here, you contribute here, you're an American. Chill like that. So, the only way to push back on this hate is to lock in. That's it. Contribute, add value, and lock in. Be honest, raise your standard. That's the only way you push back on this. That's how you get respect. Chill like that.
Amigo, não tem problema, amigo, eu não tenho problema, amigo. Don't be, man. Sorry. Move back. Out the way, Willis, out the way. You'll get knocked down. Move.
Yo, Minnesota was promised to us Somalis 3,000 years ago. And if you disagree, you're an anti-Kushite bigot and you need help immediately. Also, if you read Genesis 12:3, it says that those who bless Somalis will be blessed, and those who try to harm them will bring harm upon themselves. I didn't say that. Genesis 12:3. Just saying.
Hi, so I just really want to make this video from like a human space. This is something I've been really meaning to say, and I'm so glad that I can finally articulate it to you guys. So I'm Somali. I grew up in Minnetonka. I've been raised here my entire life. I am born here and I've lived here. I've studied here. I'm a pre-med. I do research, and that's usually the type of stuff I talk about on my page. But right now I feel like it's really important for me to say this. What I'm going to say is that I have been getting so many messages telling me to go back to your country, but the reality of the situation is the United States is the only country I've ever known my entire life. And the thing is, the great irony of it all is I'm not the ambassador of Somalia. I don't speak for Somali people. I'm not a spokesperson for this community. I'm just one young person trying to study, navigate life, and live like any other 20-something-year-old living here in this state. And so something that I feel like is going on is that there's a lot of immigrant people and first-gen, second-gen kids like me with this weight on our shoulders trying to explain everything going on in our communities, trying to defend our communities. But I'm really no different from any other 20-something-year-old trying to make it here in this state, in this country, in this world. And so I'm sharing this because I really feel like a lot of us are being treated this way and dealing with this quietly, but the reality is we aren't symbols, we aren't some type of ambassador, we are just human beings like everybody else.
People are definitely more scared. There is a lot of fear. Several people have remarked about how they no longer feel safe. One particular person was detained briefly by ICE for maybe 10 minutes while he was on his way with his kids in our Rosemount facility, and that has spread a lot of panic in the community. We are not yet seeing noticeable drops in attendance, but we don't want that to happen, which is why we are doing events like this.
Right now, they're in good spirits. We're still, everybody's good, everybody's happy. We just got done praying. Nobody's worried about ICE. And, like we said, majority of Somalis, they're all citizens. All U.S. citizens. I don't know what ICE is looking for. Somalis are here to stay.
Yeah.
They're not going nowhere.
Of course, given the circumstances we're in, people are talking about it. It is getting a little tense. I'm not going to lie. I'm a student at the University of Minnesota, so a lot of students, they're kind of more worried, We heard ICE is going to the U of M, even though students are citizens.
Instead of dealing with the issues and the agenda that he's supposed to be running on, he decided to evoke hate, divide communities, and create dangerous experiences for Americans across our country.
Right.
Minnesota was not first. We saw it in California, we saw it in Chicago.
That's right.
So what we're saying to our president is do your job.
Exactly.
Do your job and take care of Americans.
Right.
That's what we want our president to do.
After Trump announcing the TPS was over for the Somali people, he demanded all those people to be returned to their homeland, and people really got outraged, and most of the Somali people, because as we all know, the Somali people love Minnesota and they carry it as their homeland. And they have built malls, schools, they have built an entire community there, and it feels like the little Mogadishu in Minnesota, and it's full of the Somali people. But the American people are so outraged, and they don't really want to see them in that state. And tell us in the comments, people are saying there should be 2 states for the Somali people and the American people. What do you think? Who really belongs in the US? Because apparently we have been seeing so many deportations going on in the last couple of months and years. We have seen the Hispanics being deported, the Latinos being deported, and those who are remaining are living in fear because till when are we going to hide? And the ICE will be able to find us and deport us. We have seen African people being deported, and the Black Americans are also scared that time will come for also them to be deported. But in this case, we're talking about the Somali people. There have been tremendous news of fraud cases and the Al-Shabaab and all those crazy things going on in Minnesota, and the government isn't really happy about that, and they really want this to be done with and to create a new America great again. Tell us in the comments, do you think America will be great again without the immigrants, or it will crash and tremble to pieces? But tell us in the comments how you feel, if America will be able to deal with their country alone, or should they allow immigrants to continue staying in their homeland? Tell us in the comments.
What's it like being a Muslim here in the United States?
I'm not speaking English, only one Somali language.
What does it mean to you to be a part of Islam?
I don't know, I'm not speaking English very well.
How are you? Do any of you speak English? English? No. Can women speak on camera? No. I kept going because I wanted to speak with some more of the elders here to see if they could share their story about coming here from Somalia and how they've seen the rise firsthand. However, Hello. None of them spoke English.
How are you? Can I ask any of you guys some questions? No? Speak English?
English, no.
No? Do any of you speak English?
After a few interviews, somebody came up to us angry because we were asking people about the rise of Islam inside this
My name is
community.
Dick Shirley.
What are you doing?
My name is Dick Shirley. I'm a YouTuber. We're doing a video on the rise of Islam here in the United States.
The rise of Islam.
Yeah, it's the #1 converting religion.
The rise of Islam. Make it make sense for me.
Yeah, it's the #1 it's the #1 converting religion in the United States. So we're doing a top
the
subject on it.
#1 converting religion in the United States.
It's like the #1 growing religion. So
wait, isn't it after Christ?
What?
Isn't it after Christ?
This guy wouldn't show his face on camera, and this conversation kept going for a few minutes, and he demanded that we deleted the footage of the interviews that we took here on the street. I said no, and he said, you better go, and we're gonna make sure you leave.
I've never been in a situation like that while I've been filming, where somebody comes out of nowhere and wants to take the footage. I was watching a video prior to this video, and there is a Somali gang war going on here inside of these apartment complexes, apparently. I think we just went upon a gang, and I didn't know that they were a gang. And right now, he said, you better leave, and we're gonna make sure you get out of here. So right now, there is somebody following from behind, making sure that we get out of this place. Not the most friendly welcome here into this part of Minnesota.
Muslim Afghan migrant unalives 2 National Guard members, soldiers. These are headlines that usually come out of Europe, but for some reason nobody pays attention to news that's not in their country, especially us Americans. The Dearborn protest gave me a little bit of hope that Americans are waking up, but still, I mean, a Muslim got elected in the biggest city, the most important city in the world, definitely in America, New York. The protests were violent. I think that showed a lot of people like, hey, these people really don't like us. These people will literally attack you if you just go into their city, an American city that they feel like they have the right over. They'll literally fly drones over you as if you're like intruding on an American city. My issue with conservatives, you have the part of conservatives that want to focus on the juice, and then you have the other parts of conservatives that don't want to talk about it or are too scared to talk about it. Then you have the other parts that think that, you know, raising awareness or protesting against Islam is somehow like, you know, evil and like won't work, when in reality we cannot be wussies when it comes to this. There's no easy way out of this. The other bad part is that they are spending a lot of money, Qatar, which is really the funder of Muslim Brotherhood, and trying to buy off a lot of conservatives. That's why you have a lot of conservatives that are really quiet about it, and unfortunately Trump is becoming one of those conservatives that is trying to placate and pretend like this is not an issue because he's getting paid a lot of money by these Muslims. So, you know, for him, because he's a New Yorker, you know, I got my love for New Yorkers, but New Yorkers are obsessed with money. JD Vance is probably going to be the next president. I've heard him say, you know, UK is going to be the first Muslim country. It's kind of a joke, and he stood up to the people in Germany about this issue. But at the same time, I don't know if he has the teeth to do what needs to be done. Pete Hegseth, that, I mean, that's kind of interesting. And
honestly, we all know there are some people who really belong in the US, be it the Latinos, the Somali people, the Hispanics, the Indians. There are those people who are really truly born from in the US, and I do think they really deserve to stay in their country since they have citizenship, or just be judged according to their race and be returned back to their homeland. Tell us if you really think America is a diverse country for everyone, or specific type of people who should live in the US, because people have citizenships there and they are trying their level best to make it work for them, follow the government rules, they pay taxes, they school there, they're giving birth to kids, and it would be really terrible to tear them apart and show them, you guys don't belong here. But how do you feel about it? Because I think if people are going to hustle there and it's an American dream come true, people should work, but illegally. But if you're there illegally, then I understand where this is coming from when Trump doesn't want this anymore. But tell us how you feel about this ordeal of the deportations that is going on, because apparently this is a world war crisis going on. What if these other countries also demand everyone to just be returned back to their homelands? And don't you think this will create a rivalry between countries and people? How do you guys feel about it? I know so many questions that have no answers, but apparently they really want us to trust on the government and trust on Trump. And in this case, let's see how this goes. Finally, credit goes to all the respective owners of the clips and content used in our video. Your thoughts and perspective made today's work possible. And if you loved this video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and also comment your honest thoughts. See you in the next video.